Let's talk about escalators. Do they make you nervous? Are you frightened of them? I was never really frightened of them. I'd never have been a big fan of the really long, tall ones that you find in places. But I don't know, they just they make me nervous. But anyways, this was back in, I suffered a little trauma on one and this is a little bit of a warning in case you weren't aware, because I wasn't aware. It never even occurred to me that something like what happened to me would happen. So this was back, I think around 2005, 2006. It was the Christmas season. My husband's company was having a big party for all the employees at this really, really nice hotel in a big city on the West Coast. And I was really excited to go to this party. And so I got a new gown. It wasn't like tux and tail type thing, but it was very dress up. I mean, all the women wore nice gowns and the men wore really nice suits and such. And so I got a new gown and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was just floor length gown and a little bit of a kind of a train in the back. It was the most beautiful gown I'd ever had. And I just was so happy with it. So we pull up to the hotel and get out of the car, and I can't think of the name, where they take your car. Anyway, they took our car to park it, and we go into the hotel, and then you go down to the ballroom. And there's an escalator. There's elevators too, but there's an escalator. And I just got on the escalator and I was just feeling like a princess. And I was so excited to get downstairs and talk to everybody and meet new people that I hadn't met from his company, and just have a really good meal, have a good time, and, get a nice drink. So anyways, I could see as we got on the escalator, they were offering drinks as everybody got down to the bottom and before you go into the ballroom, and people were kind of congregated there and chatting. And we got about halfway down the escalator, and I felt a tug on my gown. And I immediately grabbed the bottom of my gown, and I was like, oh my God, it's caught in the escalator. And it just keeps going, and it's tugging and it's grabbing, and I'm pulling really, really hard on my gown. And I told my husband, I said, I'm in trouble. And we get down, and the escalator keeps going, and there's people coming behind us. And, you're my worst nightmare that I couldn't have foreseen for anything. And I hope this helps somebody in the future so it doesn't happen to you. So we get to the bottom, and nobody knew how to turn the escalator off. There's an off button. Nobody in the hotel seemed to know that was around us that worked there. And it just kept going and going, and it's tugging, and I'm pulling, and I'm standing there, and I'm pulling with all my might. And my dress wouldn't rip completely. It was tearing my dress, but and just grabbing it further, but it wouldn't rip, just the material. It wouldn't rip. So it's tearing, and it's just grabbing, and I'm pulling, I'm hanging on with all my might, and I'm absolutely mortified and embarrassed, of course. Everyone's staring at me, and it just felt like they were staring at me like, God, what's wrong with you? And I was trying to keep my cool, but I was very upset and just very embarrassed, and I didn't want to look at anybody, and I knew my dress was ripping. and So finally, somebody, I don't know, it took a really, really long time. I swear and people were helping to grab onto my dress and holding on, trying to get it to stop pulling my dress further and possibly injuring me. And so we're all standing down there, and everyone's trying to help, and people are staring like, oh my God, this is horrible. And so, and I know they felt bad for me, but I was mortified. At any rate, enough of that. So finally somebody, I think it was probably at least 4 minutes minimum before somebody at the hotel figured out how to shut the escalator off. And my dress is still caught, and I don't think anybody cut it. I think I finally managed to rip the bottom and get it off. And so, I have my dress half ripped and down the back, and obviously we left the party immediately after that, and via the elevator. I don't even think that they had parked our car yet. Um, and, completely parked our car by the time we were leaving. And, if it was me now, where I don't care what people think, my dress wasn't ripped like where it showed anything, that you wouldn't want to see. It was just ripped up, probably up to my knees. But I literally would have stayed at that party and just told everybody, this is what happened to my dress. So I would have had it. I literally would do that now. It's just like, I'm not going to miss this party. So my dress is a little ripped. Well, let me tell you the story if you haven't heard already. Pretty much everybody knew. So anyway, but I was mortified and we left. And this is also part of being married to a narcissist. My husband was so helpful in front of everyone. But as soon as we got in the car, it was absolute rage at me for embarrassing him. Like I did this on purpose. But, that's another story. I have being married to a narcissist stories, which I will share as well, but on this channel. But I'm just sharing stories from my life and things that have happened to me and lessons that I've learned. And I don't know why the escalator story came to my mind today, but it did. And I just I have to share this. And also because I know why it came to my mind. Because when I was at the airport recently, I was getting on an escalator, and I have a backpack, and the bottom of the straps of my backpack were kind of dangling down off. I had it wrapped around my carry-on, and the straps were kind of hanging down, and I almost felt the tug for a minute, and I was like, oh, no, that can't happen again. And that's when I remembered, and so I'm like, okay, that's right, I have to share this story. So that's why I'm sharing it today, and I hope it saves at least one person from having. If you're wearing a long gown, take the elevator or hold your gown up. Never even occurred to me that could happen. And be careful of, like straps from backpacks or your purse or things like that too, because it'll grab onto those so tight, and it can also carry you in with it, because it was dragging me into it and I was going to get hurt. Luckily, they did finally shut it down. But yeah, I hope that helps at least one person, or I hope you have a good laugh over it, because I could definitely laugh about it now. And yes, I would stay at the party. I wish I had then. But anyway, thanks for watching.